Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here's your host, Zero.
Welcome to Zero's Game Room, the podcast where we talk about all things gaming, and today we're going to talk a little bit about controversy, but we're not going to have all that negativity here. We're also going to have some positive stuff because we're going to be talking about the newly released Spider-Man on PS4, but with me today is our good old friend, a special guest, as always to have you, is Onpred. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I love having you here, Oh,
dude, I know what?
I know you and I don't see eye to eye very often or at all whenever the hell we're on this, but maybe today will be the day that we can find a little bit of common ground. Maybe not. Maybe we're totally screwed. I don't really know.
You know what, man? Every time I see you, it's not a very good sight, but you know what? I do it just for you, man.
Okay, that's just
because we're very good friends, man.
But today we're going to be talking about the little bit of controversy that has been going on with Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. Now, a couple months ago, it was released to us that we were going to be getting a, I guess, remastered remaking. I think it's more of a remake, but whatever. It's a remaster of the first three Spyro games. But as time has gone on, we've noticed that on the website we have a release date. It was originally supposed to come out in September, but it has been pushed back to November 13th of this year. But that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about that in fine print, it says you need an internet access to download game 2 and 3.
Which is ridiculous. What?
Like, why would you do that? It wasn't that long ago that we got Crash the Insane Trilogy and all three games were on the disc. Yes, you needed internet access, but that's for like updates and whatnot. So the fact that we're getting this game not fully complete is, I guess, what I would say. Because like if you go out, like if I wanted to download the game, I would have bought it digitally. But like, what are your thoughts on this?
You know what, man? It feels like Mass Effect Andromeda. The game was crap, and it had a day one patch. I feel like this game is headed towards the bad side, where it's gonna be really bad. And I think one of the reasons why it's like not. I think one of the reasons why it's not coming with Game 2 and 3 is because it's gonna be a big day one patch, man. I feel like it's not gonna be as good, and oh boy, man. I'm really scared for this game.
I'm worried because as a consumer, and granted, I totally understand the fact that in this day and age, people are trying to go more digital download. I totally get that. But in a day where people still, I still like buying physical copies. Unless, of course, it's like a super really good deal digitally, I'll get it digitally. That's kind of how I got Resident Evil 5 for like $5. But the point stands at that, like, if I'm going to go out of my way to buy the physical copy, why can't you put all three games of the Reignited Trilogy? Like, this is a big deal for some people. But why is what we're trying to answer here. Why is it such a big deal that it's going in this direction?
I think for me, I'm a big pro-digital guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zero. I get the appeal of, wanting that physical copy.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that.
But for me, I think it's so much convenient to not have to worry about that. And I can always upgrade my SIM card or whatever. And I'm always happy with that. And that's just my take on that. But for this, man, I feel like it's not right. If you wanted a physical copy, you deserve 100% of that game in a physical sense.
Exactly, because
even if there's no patches, I get it. Sometimes things happen and they got to patch it up. If I want it digitally, I should get the whole 100% game. It doesn't matter whether it's physical or not. On day one, you should get 100% of the game with that physical copy, no matter what happens.
I do agree, and we have gone on the record that you're more of a PC guy. I get that. Which Spyro the Reignited Trilogy, as of right now, is not getting a PC release. It's getting an Xbox One release. I know. It's getting an Xbox. I know. It's getting an Xbox One release and it's getting a PS4 release. But the problem stands at that. What is the point of it? Like, is it the fact that maybe they're trying to push it? Because I think you and I talked about this a little bit. That like, they're maybe trying to rush it for the holiday sale. But even then, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's so bad. Like, okay, yes, Spyro 1 is going to be on the disc. I get that. But now you're going to have to download gigs, and I mean gigs, a ton of gigs worth of 2 more games of content. Like, if I was going to do that, I would have just buy the digital version. There's no reason for me or for any consumer to go out and buy the physical copy. Because in the end, if you're going to buy the next 2 ones, or like you want to play the other 2, guess what? You can't, because you got to download them first, and that's going to take time. These are full games we're talking about here. If I buy one game, like recently I bought a couple of games that were on sale. I bought Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Horizon Zero Dawn. They were all on sale on the PS Store, so I decided to pick them up. But in that time, like, if you're downloading something, it really takes a toll. Like, granted, it varies depending on what speed of internet you have. I get that. But as a person who, like, daily uses their PS4, like, using any other service like YouTube or Netflix or Verve, or, hey, Verve, you could sponsor us if you want. But no, my point stands in that your internet speed gets drained by that, and it does take up time. Like, granted, it's not going to take all day to download the game, but it will slow down if you're doing something else on your PS4. So most of the time, you leave it to download and you go do something else for a while. But even then, it's like, that was just one game at a time. Now this is 2 games, and that's by choice that I downloaded those games. But now, I'm going out of my way to physically buy it, and now I got to spend time downloading the rest to enjoy the game. That doesn't seem right to me.
And we discussed this way before, and this was before they pushed it back to November 13th.
Oh yeah, this
is horrible, and we talked about this, that I think it's most likely the Christmas sales, and when we keep talking about that, I mentioned that. Do you think it was, maybe this was meant to be, man? Maybe this was meant so that it's harder to pirate the game. Like, do you think so?
I mean, you might be onto something, because, you know, if you have to download it like this, it's a lot harder to pirate it. But even then, when I started thinking about it, like, the more I think about it, like, Spyro is not going to be on the PC. I could totally understand people trying to pirate it there, but why didn't people try to pirate Crash Bandicoot? Like, I don't understand. Like, I think we even looked up how much a disc, can't, like, these discs nowadays, these Blu-ray discs hold like a terabyte of data or something like that, or that's like the limit of it, or like generally it's like 500 gigs or something like that. I forget what it was.
It's way up there to the point where there should not be should not be a data cap on this game. If those graphics, and from what it looks like, man, no, man, that's not. Come on, that's not a terabyte.
Yeah, no.
Game.
On top of which, it's like you have so much space, and like the bigger picture here is that I get it. This is a remaster. They're gonna make it look very pretty, but this is not the real engine that they're gonna be using on like Kingdom Hearts and whatnot. You know what I mean? And Kingdom Hearts has a lot of in it. Like, here, another prime example of a bundle that was done correctly. This year, Kingdom Hearts came out with 1.5 and 2.5 remix, all in one pretty neat little package. And Kingdom Hearts is a way longer, more worlds to explore, but there's a lot more in the world of Kingdom Hearts. Yet you're telling me you can only put one full Spyro game in the disc, and I need to download the rest. What about people who, and I get it, you know, many, and I mean like probably I'd say like a good 90% of the population has like Wi-Fi in this day and age in 2018. But what if you buy this game later on in your lifespan? You know, maybe the servers for the PS4 have gone down and you want to buy this game. Well, guess what? You're only going to get one game out of it, because you won't be able to download the rest of it because the servers will be gone. Or let's just take an example of let's create little Timmy, who has a PS4, but his parents don't let him use the Wi-Fi because they're scared, you know, before little Timmy used their credit card, and now they're like, Timmy, no. So now the kid's stuck without Wi-Fi, but he can still play the games, which is fine. But now he's stuck with one.
And that's assuming you can't even play the game with one game. That's assuming.
I know that we're still assuming.
Yeah,
we're still assuming that you don't need an update or a patch, or you need something to start up the first one.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I feel like this might be a train wreck waiting to happen, and that's the saddest part. I don't want this game to fail. This is Spyro. People have grown up with Spyro, just like they did Crash Bandicoot. And I do feel like a lot of old retro-style characters like these do deserve to have a chance, but you're doing it wrong. Take what has been set up for you. God of War on the PS3, it was remastered. You got all 3 games on one disc. This is the PS4 right now. I don't know if that's like I can't even believe we're having this conversation, that the fact that all 3 games shouldn't be on one disc.
I think it's, you know what, I really hate this game is not getting the love that it deserves. To be honest, I didn't even know this game was even coming out until you told me. I was like, what? This game's coming out?
Which was cool, but...
Yeah, which is, you know, I played the first game. I liked it as a kid. I would love to play, but I don't have a PS4, so maybe I have to bug you and I have to sleep over or something. But again,
that's fine. That's fine.
Pizza night, yeah.
Pizza, video games, snacks. You bring the snacks and the soda. I'll get the pizza. We'll have a good time.
Hey, but that's awesome. But for this, I feel like it's not getting the love that it deserves. And I think now we're seeing a lot of old characters get a lot of love with the Smash and with PS4 games, and this is just, it's taking the hardship, man. It's not getting the same love that we think it deserves.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to have to admit that, but you know, who knows? Maybe down the line when it finally comes out, maybe it won't be so bad. I mean, it might be rough around the edges, but at the end of the day, this is their decision to do it this way, and there's not much one as a consumer can do other than be advised by it and just know what you're getting yourself into, which we kind of talked about this in a previous episode where we was like buyer beware type of deal. Just know that this game, I mean, again, this is all on assumption because of what we have, but it's clear as day that they're saying, hey, you're going to need internet access to get 2 and 3. And I personally love 3. A lot of people like 2 as their favorite, but I like 3 the most. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Spyro, I hope you don't fail, buddy, because you are a retro video game style that definitely needs to come back and deserves to be treated right.
You know what, man? You can always take your PS4 and turn it on and download it at Starbucks, right? Isn't that how that works?
Is that how it works? Yeah, I'm going to take my whole PS4, hook it up at a Starbucks, and just download it, because that's how it works. No, honestly, though, if it kind of makes me second guess that I should even buy it physically. Maybe I should just, maybe not even purchase it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe as we get closer, we'll hear something different. But as of right now, I'm not too happy about it. I am excited that it's coming, but not the way they're dealing it or handling it personally.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think for like a final statement, it would be like, don't offer me a hard copy of the game if I still have to download the rest of the game online.
Yeah. That's like the best way I could think you could put it, and honestly.
Even the same thing happens with Lego Man City. Like, when the Switch came out, I think they were trying to push this game really hard. And while the game was on the SD, it needed 13 gigabytes to download to have the game. And the default Switch for right now only has 32 gigabytes of memory. So I have to waste 1/3 of my data because you couldn't put it on the SD card. And that's my problem.
And that's your problem. Yeah, you bought a game. Maybe you haven't bought yourself a micro SD. So it's the first game you pick up. You think you're going to have a good time. But a 13 gig, like, to play it? Like, you just physically bought it. Why do I got to download 13 gigs worth of data to play this?
I feel like this happened too. Be the game.
Like, yeah, I know, right? The 13 gigs should just have been the game. Why is it not on this cartridge?
On a Lego City?
Yeah. Legos. Yeah. No. Here. We can put a whole open world Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on a cartridge, but Lego Man City? Nah, man. We need that extra 13 gigs of space to download. It's just so huge.
I feel like there should be a law about that, man. I feel like there should be a law that says, oh, man.
It shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't. Because, people could just put it like, oh, it's just a patch. You need those. I don't know, man. Right now, I'm just talking at the top of my head.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's hope for good. And like you said, with the ending statement, don't offer us a hard copy if the game still has to be downloaded online. Yes. Just release it online. Cut yourself some costs there of like making them and just put it digital and sell it for cheaper if you're going to do that, like for $30 instead of 40, because I'm assuming it's going to go for 40 because that's what Crash went for. But anywho, on a more positive note, this past week we saw the big release of Spider-Man for the PS4, what can arguably be considered the biggest hype game of 2018.
Ooh.
And, of course, there was controversy with that. What was the controversy on, Fred?
Well, Spyro was taking budgets on data. Insomniac was taking budget cuts on the puddles, man. There was too much puddles, man. It makes the game run 10 times
Ruby and
worse.
Alpha Sapphire? Too much water.
Yeah,
and now
too
there's
much, man.
At E3, they promised us puddles, and the puddles are not there. What the frick? Look, this is what I'm gonna say to all those people who are complaining, because there has been some backlash. Look, this is to all you haterators drinking your haterade. Spider-Man 4, I bought it, okay? I went out of my way and I bought it. It's honestly a love letter to people who grew up playing Spider-Man on the PS2. It is a lot of fun. I do see this is one of those games that you're going to spend a lot of time on because there's a lot of little sub missions you can do, areas that you can open up, and little missions, upgrades, gadgets, suits, Easter eggs. One of the Easter eggs is kind of depressing. I don't know if you heard about that, about the Easter egg about the guy who tweeted out to
about the marriage? Oh, dude, I did.
Now his girlfriend is dating his brother.
Oh, dude, that's so sad.
So, other than that, there's a lot of content to be held here. And for people who do love the Spider-Man lore, there is a lot of, like, attention to detail. The combat is pretty good. Honestly, in a nutshell, I think it's a good game. Do I think it's the best game ever created by mankind? No. Do I think it is worth the retail price and you should probably go buy it? Definitely, because this game is actually a lot of fun. They perfected, I think, the web mechanics of this game. They finally got it down. People need to stop complaining about the little minor details. Puddles. Who gives a damn? The game still looks gorgeous. You're going to complain about a goddamn puddle that was not there.
Of course.
Now.
As they say, dude, if the more puddles you take out, it obviously makes the game $30 worth. Come on, man. Everybody knows that.
Oh, everybody knows that. No, but that's kind of my no. I do think this was a success. I think the hype is definitely behind it. And honestly, I'd say, you know, I'm usually one of those people that doesn't like to jump on the hype train, aka Fortnite, PUBG, and all that. But with Spider-Man, this is definitely... What? Do you play PUBG or Fortnite?
I used to be a beast at PUBG. Fortnite, I'm bad. But right now 0. Right now.
Okay.
1 through 10, what would you rate it?
With the time that I've spent on it, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5 or an 8 because it is good. I mean, what else can I say? It's not great. Does it have a lot of homages to old Spider-Man games? You know what? No. You know what?
Uh-oh.
It's a 10 out of 10, baby. You want to know why it's a 10 out of 10? Because they took the Spider-Man 2 music, the pizza music, the and if you go to a pizza shop, you can hear the faint sound of that music. 10 out of 10. Go home, cook it up, and you eat it up.
But was it hard, or we're really just lazy?
Look, it's a good game.
I'm just kidding.
Kidding. Honestly, even just watching, like, I actually watching the people voice act it, I think it was actually done really well. Like I said, this game, it's not just average. It's good. It's really good. But is it a masterpiece? To some, maybe. I'd just say it's a really good game, and I would 100% tell people to go buy it. And this is a little shout out to Garrison, Mr. Garrison King, who's probably listening to this because he listens to this podcast. He's an Xbox man, which he has given me the request, or he's given me the tip that we need to talk more about Xbox One stuff, to which I backlashed. I'm like, oh, do you guys have any exclusives we could talk about? No, they don't. So, and mind you, Spider-Man only came out on PS4, so he actually went out and got a PS4 for this game. So, hopefully...
2 people wasted their money. Damn.
What?
PC for life.
Is there a PC port of this? No, right?
Hey, man.
No, there's not. It's not going to happen.
There's not.
I didn't think so. But that kind of wraps up another episode. It kind of sucks that we're having a little bit of controversy, but in the end of the day, there's a lot of good games to be coming ahead. Spider-Man is definitely one of them. We still have Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu later on this year in November. We still have Smash in December. We have Tomb Raider, which has received a little backlash. Little rumors here and there, but that's for another time. Thank you, Onpred, for being on the show, buddy.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Zero's Game Room. Want to give a special thanks to my graphics designer at Trekit on Twitter and at David_Ritter for voicing my intro. Keep up to date with the podcast by liking it on Facebook at Zero's Gaming Room and on Twitter at Zero's Game Room. Until next time, GG with a definite re.